This is the video that you've all been waiting for. This is the video that shows the building a crab trailer. And when it's finished and it's all said and done, was it necessary?
It just looks so perfect. Alright. Try.
Yes it was. The old trailer with no brakes and no power was just too heavy. It just wasn't going to work on the hills. So we set about making some fun fundraising videos, and somewhere along the line I also did some design work. I started by drawing up the frame. The idea was to figure out the basic dimensions and then figure out what motors we could use on the wheels, and get some more information about how those would fit. And eventually I had something that was sort of about right. The trailer dimensions were not super critical, but these wheel dropouts, which were machined, had to be placed pretty precisely onto the frame. So after finding the exact position and using these spacing rods to make sure that they were spaced correctly, I welded them in place. For some reason, I don't have any content of me welding the frame, but you'll have to believe me, I welded all of that too. Finally, this wheel went in and showed that I hadn't done anything terribly wrong. And so the frame was finished, and yes, slightly longer than it was in the plans. And just like that, I'd also built the front assembly. Front wheel was in, that was attached to the frame with pillow block bearings, off-the-shelf parts, trying to keep the cost of the trailer down. Having said that, this part of the trailer does have the most custom parts. There are various laser cut parts that come together with some standard box section to make this assembly. And suddenly I'd also built a drawbar, attached it to the bike and taken it for a first unpowered, unbraked test ride. I was very pleased to feel it handle nicely, for it to corner nicely, for it to track behind the bike nicely. And then it was time to do some cladding. The cladding is all 4mm aluminium composite panel, and it's held on with blind rivets. Then the heat sinks for the electronic speed controllers, which in turn drive the motors, got mounted onto the cladding. And the speed controllers themselves are mounted with thermal compound and then clamped against the heatsink. There was, of course, a lot of soldering to do. All the cables had to run from the speed controllers back along the trailer body and then pop up to the equipment bay to be connected to the batteries. There were various battery interconnects and switches to short the batteries so that they can run at a matched voltage once charged. There are takeoffs that connect power to a 12 volt and a 5 volt power supply for driving both the braking circuitry and the logic electronics. And before I knew what was happening, I'd connected my own custom electronics and taken everything for a test ride. But it wasn't going well. The trailer didn't seem to be doing what it was supposed to do. It was now measuring the load on the drawbar, and it was supposed to be running the motors when I needed to go up a hill, and running the brakes when I was going down a hill. It wasn't working. What could possibly be wrong? Turn it any number of clicks to the right. Just one will be fine, but more is fine too.
Okay.
Okay, now.
Was it off?
It was off.
It was off! You're just really strong.
Yes, it was turned off. And when I turned it on, it actually started to work. The regen braking was incredible. It applied a huge braking force. The bike could roll down the hill being held back by the trailer. And going uphill was equally impressive. The trailer had plenty of torque. And so there was nothing really left to do except dress the trailer in bright pink vinyl, and then get ready for the launch. And here it is, looking large and pink and towing tools to and from jobs. Yes, it was definitely worth it. This has made being a tradie on a bike viable. Without it, it really wasn't viable, and with it, it is.